All right, good morning. Today's objectives are I can list multiples of a number. I can find the least common multiple of two or more numbers. All right, we're going to get started today with making one of those great foldables to put in our interactive notebooks. Okay, remember our objectives? This is the other side of your least common multiple that you're going to need. Now, I'm going to have you pause right now so you can take down this information. For time's sake, I'm going to wait a few seconds, and then I'm going to move on. So make sure you pause right now and take down this information. All right, now we're going to bring up the least common multiple foldable. Now, these foldable videos, you will need to look at it, and you're going to have to find exactly, there it is, where it starts, all right? So here's your video on how to make it. Just shows you got both sides, okay? You're going to start off folding it hot dog style, like a hot dog bun. Fold it down. If you need to pause during the video, go ahead and pause. Okay, it's telling you to fold the corner to the middle of the other side. And then you're going to fold over again. Bring the bottom up. And there you have it. All right, feel free to back that up. Watch it several times if you need to. All right, moving on. Today, we're going to get some practice on this. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this. First, you can always make a number line. I don't think this is the best method of doing it, but if you wanted to, you could. So what you would do is you'd make a long number line, and you would number it, and they use the example of 2 and 3. So in one point, they mark every multiple of 2, like skip counting. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And they put an X on all those numbers. Then they went back and did the same thing with 3. 3, 6, and you can see here, there's where they line up together, 9 and 12. So they line up in two places, but which one is the least common multiple, the smallest common multiple? That would be 6. So that's one way of doing it. If you don't like that method, you can always list the multiples and simply skip count and list a whole bunch of multiples. Here they listed 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and down below they listed the multiples of 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and again, they look for those commonalities on where they line up. And right here is your commonality with those 6s, okay? Again, remember it's the least common multiple. Now, I don't really care for this method either, only because when you get bigger numbers, sometimes you're skip counting for several lines before you can get there. So what I always recommend to students is I tell them to try and do that tree that we were doing before. Okay? So if you do the tree method, it's the same thing that we did for greatest common factor. You're breaking down the 14 and the 21 to get those prime numbers. The only difference in greatest common factor and least common multiple is you're taking one number from each one. So if they're in common, you take 1. If they're not in common, you take what's left. So for instance, for 14, you have a 7 and a 2. Okay? For 21, again, we have another 7. We don't have a 2, but we have a 3. These 7s match up, so you only need one of them. So you're going to take 7 times, you need a 2 because they don't match up, and you need a 3. Okay? So you're going to multiply those together. 7 times 2 is 14. And 14 times 3, 12, carry the 1, is 42. Your least common multiple of 14 and 21 is 42. All right, let's give you another example. Again, please feel free to pause, take the notes down, back up where you need to. I know this goes a little bit quickly, but YouTube only lets us upload 10-minute videos, so we got to try and keep them quick. So make sure if you're not understanding, back it up and watch it as many times as you need to. All right, let's get some practice in. We have 2 and 6. So if we factored out 2, well, 2 is a prime number. We can't even make a factor tree out of that. 2 is just 2. If we factor out 6, we get 2 times 3. Okay? So we have 2 here and 2 here. So these match up. And we have a 3. So we take 1 from the ones that match times any of them that don't. And 2 times 3 is 6. So your least common multiple is 6. And if we skip counted 2, 2, 4, 6, we would see that indeed you can get 6 from 2. What if we have 3 numbers, 4, 5, and 10? All right, we have 4. 4 breaks down to 2 times 2. 5 is its own prime number, so 5 is just going to come down. And 10 breaks down to 2 times 5. Now let's line them up. 4, 2, and a 2. We have 5, and we don't have any 2s, but we have a 5, so we got to put that 5 over here and leave blanks. And then we have 10, and 10 has a 2 and a 5. So a 2 and a 5. All right, let's see what we got that matches up. We've got 5s that match up, 2s that match up, and a 2 that's left over with no matches. So we got 2 times 2 times 5. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. The least common multiple of 4, 5, and 10 is 20. Now notice there wasn't a match in here, but as long as you have a pair, you only need 1, even if it's a 3-digit number. All right, let's try and list the multiples. Since this is a smaller number, let's try it the way they suggested up here, where they told us just to list the multiples across. Well, we're going to try it with 3 digits. So we got 3, 5, and 7. 3, 5, 7. All right, go ahead and skip count 3s. Let's count by 3s. We got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Let's see if that's enough. We've got 5, 10, 15. Do we have a match yet? Yep, we have one here. So let's go to 7 and see if we can get a 7. 7, 14. Oh, that doesn't match up. 21. That matches, but it's not going to match a 5. Let's see. 28. 35. Wonder if 35 would work. Let's try it. 20. If we continued on with 15, we get 20, 25, 30, 35. So that one matches. Now we got to see if the 3 matches up. 24 would be 27 if we continued. 30, 33. Nope, we're going to go right over it. 36. Now, do you see how this can become long? So now we got to keep going. 39, 42, 45. And I know that's a multiple, but I know that 7 times 6 is 42. So you see how this is starting to get really, really long? Well, what if we didn't do it this way? These 3 numbers are all what? What do they have in common? They're all prime. So what if instead we just took, since you have a 3, a 5, and a 7, you don't even have to make factor trees because they're all prime. We can simply just multiply them together. 3 times 5 is 15, and 15 times 7, which is 105. Now, if you would have skip counted 3 all the way to 105, you would have been there for a while. Make sure you watch and see if those numbers are prime. If they are, you just multiply them together. I hope this lesson helped. Have a great day.